Good morning, everybody. The advantage of coming last to speak is everybody has made some valid points, and my job becomes how to summarize quickly in 5 minutes. So that's so much easier to do. But I heard so many nice things from Dr. Sitaram, who's here, Dr. Pankaj, Dr. Arun also gave a very provocative, thought process driven address this morning. I would like to kind of bring in all these points together in what I wanted to share. And each one of you talked about how technology is transforming, how learning is transforming, and how educators need to also have a different point of view of how the students are consuming learning these days. And I'm saying consumption because everything has become very consumption oriented. Even learning has become. On YouTube, everything that they scroll and screen becomes very consumption oriented. So I will touch upon a few points. I wouldn't spend much on this slide because all of you, when you're in a room full of academicians, Coursera does not need an introduction, which is the advantage. But degrees today are not royalties for life. Lifelong learning is what we all talk about, and this is the way to survive. It's not even a concept, it's a mode of survival. And in Coursera, we have a triangle in which the current flows from one dot to the other. And how it does is we've got about 12 crore registered learners who come to consume learning on Coursera. They could be any age group, they could be working professionals, students, professors, whoever. And some of these are also coming through institutions, like Dr. Arun mentioned, LIBA has partnered with Coursera for Campus to bring global learning and industry-based learning to the students there. Some of the governments and business corporations we work with, for example, in India, Reliance trains the entire workforce on Coursera. Telangana government or the Tamil Nadu government as well through Nan Mudalvan initiative trains students on Coursera. But where is all this coming from? So the current flows from one center, which is our industry partners and university educators. So we have about 100 now it says 75 plus, but it grows by the day. So we have about 100 industries who come on board to Coursera as authors. So when Dr. Arun was saying, you are a university, where is your building, where's your infrastructure? We are not a university, but we are a university partner. We are an industry partner, and we are a medium through which knowledge gets disseminated to everybody who wants to learn. And having set the context, I would like to touch upon few points which are top of the mind for most of you in the room today. As a university leader, and we just heard the leadership address, and we talked about dissent, we talked about collaboration, we talked about network. These are the few points that come to top of our mind. We want to strengthen academic excellence. We want to make sure that everything that our students receive within our learning system is of the highest quality, and it's always updated. We want to drive student employability. We understand that outcome of learning is a career, and the end of learning is not a career, right? But there are to be certain skills that need to be gathered to make sure that the students are employable. Because on one side, we want to partner with the industry, but the industry also says the students who come to us, they are educated, but they don't have skills. They are not skilled. So how, as a university leader, we drive student employability? We talk about rankings and brand perception. This is important. If there is excellence and if there is an employability outcome, brand perception and rankings will also grow. And that will help us to do more within the institution and grow the scope and influence of the institution as well. And of course, as businesses, The idea is also to constantly generate important revenue. There are interventions from Coursera that we have developed to help you achieve these goals. And some of the ways in which the leaders are trying to achieve this are, how are we increasing collaboration? Dr. Sitaram said not everybody can do everything, therefore there should be faculty development programs. In technology, we call it GitHub, where people come and pool in their resources, they generate public code, which enables other users to develop things. So it's a collaborative platform. So how can educators collaborate and create a GitHub of knowledge? The second emerging trend is industry as educator. There's a concept of micro-credentials, job-based skilling. If these are the roles of the future, how are the skill buckets being transferred to the students to be able to prepare for those jobs? So how do we collaborate with industry, bringing in those skills direct to classrooms? The third trend is building talent pipelines. Campus to career, classroom to career is our topic today. So this is, again, an emerging trend where a lot of deliberation and collaboration happens. Fourth is empower faculty. Core competency has been something that has been at the center of digital transformations of businesses. How do we develop core competencies in the DNA of the organization that gives us some cutting edge for the next 3 to 5 years of horizon that is strategic to the businesses? In the university system, that core competency is the faculty DNA. And as we say, the campuses can't go everywhere, but the learners can come to campuses through digital technology. But is our faculty empowered enough for digital teaching, for online education? With these 4 trends in mind, there are some other concerns which are disruptive in nature. So those were the emerging trends. Now there is disruption. With ChatGPT, we realized that all jobs at all levels are getting exposed. When the 4th industrial revolution started, due to automation, we found that there were certain jobs, certain kind of workforce that was impacted. People with no formal education or just a high school diploma, some college, no degree. These were the people who were suffering from the risk of automation. What has ChatGPT done, or the disruptive technologies that we are talking about? It has created a different section of workforce that will be impacted. With some college, no degree, bachelor's degree, master PhD, which means people with hands-on learning still will continue to find space in the workforce if they upskill themselves timely. What we are trying to build in Coursera, we understand that ChatGPT 4 is going to change the paradigm of how learning is being consumed, how educators and teach. So we are at Coursera experimenting with ChatGPT 4, and which we'll be kind of bringing live very soon. We're talking about personalized and interactive learning delivered to the power of one. I, as an individual, how will the platform adopt to teach me at my level according to my needs? And how a student can get a coach and a teacher can get a teaching assistant, which serves particular learning objectives. The disadvantage of AI language models is, how do you train those models to be valid, relevant, and authentic? Since Coursera is garnered in expert content produced by educators and industry like yourselves, we're training the algorithm to take Coursera content and work on these functionalities. We're talking about going from micro-learning to career-based learning. We're talking about how to generate assessments which are adaptive, and the staff can personalize them according to the learning objectives you want to deliver. So ChatGPT can really transform the way we experience learning in our classrooms. using the right technology and right content. Basis all this, I would just like to show a model of how our degrees are changing, considering we want industry, we want real-time information, we want to embed micro-credentials, and we want to create career outcomes. So if you look at the example here, if we were to talk about best-in-class collaboration, this is a sample of what you would teach to a BTech computer science student who is specializing in AI and ML. You would have some core courses which are being taught by you, but you would also be able to access Introduction to Electronics by Georgia Tech or Data Structures and Algorithms by UC San Diego, because as a collaborator in the best-in-class information available, best-in-class learning available, you would like to bring students what is most relevant and updated all time. So a student through this program will have access not only to the assisted and guided learning that happens in classrooms, but also benefit from what is happening at international universities. The other piece of this is industry as educator. So a student can actually, while they are at the university, earn micro-credentials from brands like Google and IBM and train on the skills that they are saying are relevant to perform a certain particular job. So this becomes your job-based learning piece, and this becomes your foundation. So a student is prepared for both things together. And why is this relevant? So we went to the world and asked many corporations and students around the world, what do they think is relevant to them? And how role of industry as an educator is significant in choosing programs or choosing employable talent. And this is the scale of the survey we did. We went across to these countries and spoke to about over 3,000 students and approximately 2,000 employers. And the outcomes of that survey were that students feel very strongly, the student is aware that industry micro-credentials will help them secure a job. 96% of students are confident that I need industry skills to be able to be relevant to secure a job of my choice. They also feel that this not only helps me secure a job, it also helps me stay successful in the job because I enter the job with the right kind of skills that are required to perform the job. And they would also make this as a criteria to choose a program over the other. So if they have industry exposure right at the center of the program they're choosing, they're more likely to enroll in that program. And these are some of the certificates that are being taken by students who use Coursera for campus to learn within their institutions. And you would see the American Council of Education, the ones that are on the star, has also designated them for credit, which means they say this has the right kind of academic rigor to be implemented in the universities and prepare students for the jobs. And what is the outcome that happens after students take this kind of an education? I showed you an example of the BTech AI/ML specialization, which had industry micro-credentials as well as foundational learning happening within the university. So one of our partners, corporate partners, is Axis Bank. So they were looking for software programmers, software developers from the campuses. And they came to Coursera and they said, we would love to partner with you because you have the skill passport that each and every student in the universities possess. And they ended up hiring Anaga Bharadwaj, who is a student, final year student at Graphic Era University in Dehradun, and Rajkamal Vempati, who's the CHRO at Axis Bank. She said, in the digital first world, I would like to go and check digitally skilled talent first. And Coursera helped them match and talk to each other. So this is the outcome that happens once all of this is embedded into the way students experience learning in the colleges and the universities today. And the other thing that we are seeing happen is digital teaching, how to take my university online, because I want more and more students to learn what I am able to deliver within the classrooms. But it is impossible to increase the infrastructure and go live. But can I actually use technology to get my faculty to teach many more students the foundations that I have to deliver? So how Coursera is enabling universities to do that is by training faculty to be able to teach online. And we recently launched a program with BITS Pilani, which is a highly popular program. It's a 3-year bachelor degree. And now the BITS Pilani faculty is able to teach many, many students globally computer science through this program. So faculty becomes globally relevant with something like that. On this note, thank you very much for this morning and paying attention. If there are any questions, I'm here, and I would love to interact with you. Thank you so much.